In this video I want to show how to animate this arm so that it's picking something up and then maybe putting it back down. But what I want to do first is, see I have this little test animation on here just to pull these bones into a little bit of a deformation so that I can, or some bends and rotates so that I can so I could adjust the skin weighting on the whole arm, and it looks pretty good. So it's not exactly perfect, but for an animated mesh, it's going to look pretty good. And in fact, we could probably, let's see what we get with a turbo smooth on this guy. And yeah, it's looking pretty good. You don't want too much collapsing in there, but you do want some. And that looks like it's collapsing pretty well. So let's undo that. And then what I want to do is remove all the animation on all these pieces. Oh, also note that I've made a point helper up here to act as kind of a root bone and a shoulder bone for this thing, so that I can move it around with it. And you'll note that I've made a IK link here between if I go to F3, the hand bone in there to this thing, so that I don't have to animate a bunch of rotations. I can just grab that controller and move it like a real arm. So what I want to do now, though, is delete all these keys for this with this thing at position 0, so I have a kind of a neutral position arm on here. Now I could go in and select all the pieces and then select the keys and delete those, but if I wanted to do it in another way, I could bring up a curve editor or a graph editor. Normally you might look at the curve editor, something with all these, and I can delete from there. You can see things a little bit better from the, if I go to the graph editor and the dope sheet, and you can filter out things here. You can bring up filters to just show only keyable, visible, animated, all that. And mostly these are the three that I tend to use. Or you could, if you really need to work on specific things, you can just check selected objects and show those. But in this case, I think I'm just going to be able to reach in and grab all the things there with keys on them and delete those, and this is going to give me a warning, which is good, and say yes. And let's close that out. Oop, and it took something with it, so let's undo that. Let's make sure, we are at dead 0 here. Let's bring up the dope sheet again, and let's expand everything here. Make sure I can select everything. All right, that looks good. Make sure I'm at the top and the bottom. Drag key around those, delete those. Let's get rid of that. There we go. Yep. Guess it was just a matter of being able to see everything. Okay, so now here at, when I have this, and you see I'm at animation 01, what I want to do is save this as 02. So I'm just going to bring up save as, and I think normally you could hit the plus sign and it would save it as 02, but I may have an 02 in there already. So let me just go in and pick the 02 and delete that, and back to 01 here and hit the plus sign, and it'll save it as 02. So now I can work on this and still have that other one as a backup in case I screw something up, which is likely. So let's give this thing something to pick up. So I'm going to bring my floor grid out, and another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the arm, and over here in my display properties, I'm going to make sure that show frozen in gray is unchecked, and then right click and freeze that arm so that I can just reach in and pick the bones or anything in there if I have to, without having to worry about the arm. Now note that even though it's frozen, it is going to animate or deform with the skeletal rig just fine. So first of all, let's give this thing something to pick up. In this case, I'm just going to have it kind of raise the arm and swoop down and grab a ball. So I'm just going to come to my create panel and let's make a sphere out here, maybe about 4 units, inches in this case. Yeah, 4 is fine. Yeah, and that looks like it would, yeah, be just fine for the hand to kind of swoop in and grab. And the way we'll work this thing is that until a certain frame, it's going to need to stay there on the ground. In fact, let's raise it up a little bit so that it's a little bit above the ground plane. And then we'll have to adjust the arm a little bit too, so that as it kind of curls by, it doesn't just swing, say, into a ground plane. Actually, what might work better would be to actually move this down a little bit, since that arm is a little more naturally positioned that way. And let's maybe get it over, maybe a little bit closer, yeah, because that way this could be kind of our an intermediate frame here, and we could use these positions as another key. And then what we do is maybe just put a if we did want a surface or something for this thing to sit on, put in a plane. But right now I'm just going to leave it the way it is. Let's hide the floor grid. All right, that's looking pretty good. Let's make sure we're not already interpenetrating or anything. Yeah, that's looking fine. So what I'm going to do is animate the hand sort of drawing back from this and then sweeping down to get it. So let's do maybe a quick draw on that. Let's go to Auto Key. I'm going to grab my IK controller, maybe pull the hand up a little bit, and let's open out some of the thumb here. And yeah, since these things are kind of orthogonal, I'm going to use a lot of screen moving, where I'm going to reach right into the center, and it's kind of hard to see with all the stuff that's in there, but there's a little gray box in there, and you can grab that and pull that, and that will move relative to the screen, so you can move in multiple axes at once. And let's see, maybe a little bit of widening on maybe some of these fingers. Just I don't want to do too much because I'm going to have to grabbing the wrong. Just want a little bit of movement on things, so let's see how that looks. Yeah, arm kind of coming back, maybe a bit of a bend in the wrist. So let's see, let's pick the bone in there and let's maybe rotate it back a little bit. Yeah, it's looking good. Maybe a little bit of lateral movement in the fingers as well. And here I can just, what have I picked there? Okay, yeah, it's the little finger. A little bit of straightening, not too much. Again, you have to be kind of careful to keep things from sort of locking. Just really pull that one out for a little more. Oop, sorry, I didn't have it on. I had it on 20, not 15. Let's see, I think this one was the same way. Yep. Ooh, looks like I was a little over on all of them. Sorry about that. Yeah, let's go to 20 and 15 and pick those. And that one. everything should come back together. Yeah, that's looking good. Yeah, so now it's just a matter of say copying these keys again for these guys, and I could probably do that again through the dope sheet. So let's bring up our dope sheet, and yeah, here we go. So what we're needing are all these keys, you know, right here with the positioning of the point helpers, and then the rotation there of the bone hand. So I'm just going to grab all those and hold down Shift and clone those out to let's see, a little bit faster movement than going back. So maybe right here at about 25 on those. And so now the hand should go out and swoop back, yeah, kind of right there. And we may want to then do, let's see, kind of a quick little bit on here for kind of closing around the ball. Actually, let's see, while I have that, I'm just going to move things a little bit farther forward. Yeah, get kind of right up against the ball there. Let's see how that does. Yeah, okay. And let's grab this guy and in screen space here, pull it in so we get a little bit of contact with the ball. Maybe a little bit of straightening. And then all of these are going to need to kind of curl. And in fact, let's move the wrist down a little more. Okay, that's about, yeah, it's limit. And without keyframe on, I'm just going to move the ball up just a bit, just to get it more into the palm. Yeah. Let's go back to 25, auto key. And again, I may, yeah, I've only got a few minutes left, so what I'm going to do is, you get the idea. You know, it's just a matter of getting all these fingers into position to curl around the ball. Another thing I may want to do is watch these fingers so that they don't, I may need to move the ball back down a little bit so that none of these go through the ground plane, or what would be the ground plane in this case. Yeah, and then one last one here. And if some of these are, yeah, you can see how that one's, yeah, a little bit. And then this guy went in just a little too much. That's pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's okay. Yeah. So when I come back, what I'll do is actually those curl under pretty good before they contact with the ball. So yeah, because they were coming back to their original position already. So what I'll do is I'll stop here and then pick up and show about how to have the ball then linked to the hand at this time.